Hey everybody, this is my 125-gallon native tank, and I just showed everybody the brand new rescape that I did the other day, but in that video I failed to talk about a few of the concerns I have so far. I wanted to bring these up in a separate video, so today we're going to look at a few of the things I've got going on that are actually concerns of mine in this tank. One of them is my Chinese algae eater. It's out now, but as we get closer to the tank, it's probably going to dart and dash away. It is actually hiding sort of right here behind this piece of wood, so look for it as we advance towards the tank, and you will notice that both of its eyes are bugged out and it's bloated up like a football, an American football that is, and don't really know why or what's going on. But you can kind of see how its eyes are bugged out of its head. It's definitely got the Popeye look. And I'm surprised it hasn't darted and dashed away yet, but when it does finally lose its nerve and swims away, you'll see how fat and bloated it is. So I'm not too concerned about this. I'm just kind of curious about it. I've had this fish for years. I don't know what their lifespan is, but it's a very unpleasant fish. It's killed some of my other fish. The only reason it's even in this tank is because I had no other place for it. I figured it would do the least damage in this tank. I've always meant to get rid of it, but I don't know. Once I have a fish for a while, I just get attached to it. Even if it's a fish I don't like, I just feel like it's, it's my fish, whether I like it or not. It's there, and I've got the responsibility for taking care of it or whatever. Just getting rid of them just seems kind of weird to me. So I've had it for about 6 years now. I don't know, maybe it's just coming to the end of its normal natural lifespan, and my assumption is just like in all animals, as we get older, our internal organs and stuff stop working, and we have various different failures. It might be your kidneys, or it might be your liver, it might be emphysema, it might be blood pressure, it could be all kinds of different stuff. So I don't see why, as a fish ages, swim bladder issues, osmoregulation issues, just the stuff that a fish would have to deal with that we wouldn't. If they start running into problems with ordinary stuff like that, then we're going to start to see bloating and Popeye and swim bladder issues and so on and so forth. So it could be age related. I haven't changed my water. I haven't done anything in all the years I've had this fish. It's been fine. And over the last 2 or 3 weeks, it's been slowly just getting bigger and bigger, and I've noticed its eyes are bugging out more and more. So I definitely don't see it getting better necessarily, but I have no idea what's causing it or why it's doing that. So the other thing I've got going on that is a little bit more of a concern is my shiners, and I don't really know what to think of what I'm seeing. When you see them, and that one in particular is the best example, depending on the angle you look at it, it looks like it's either perfectly normal, or it looks like its scales could be damaged and dinged and banged up, or it looks like it has little spots of powdery mildew all over it. Now, I know it wouldn't actually be powdery mildew because you can't have mildew underwater, but it looks like little specks of fungal infection or something like that. And I just really don't know what to make of it. It doesn't really look like fungal infections, but at the same time, it doesn't look normal either. It really does look like the scales are kind of banged up and beat up. Now, I did just completely rescape this tank. I was in there for about, I don't know, however long Animals takes to play. I was finishing up right as Pigs on the Wing was also finishing up. So however long that album is how long it took me to do this whole project and rescape it and everything. So we'll call it 45 minutes, something like that. But I've since done a water change, and of course the scape is completely new, and when you turn the lights on in the morning, imagine just being put in a completely unfamiliar environment and then having the lights come on and mad dash panic that happens when the lights come on in the fish tank a lot of times. So it's entirely likely that the fish we're seeing really are just banged and beat up and scratched up and have been scraping into things. So I don't really know if treatment is going to make an impact or not. But I am treating the tank. I bought some Paragard. Paragard is one of those products that treats for everything from, bacterial and fungal infections to gill flukes to internal parasites, external parasites. It's supposed to treat for everything. So I've been treating it for the last couple days, but I think after maybe 3 or 4 days, if I don't see any change or any, if it's not getting worse, it's not getting better, I'm just going to stop and see what happens. Treating a 125-gallon tank with medicine gets pretty expensive pretty quickly, and catching those fish and trying to get them out of the tank is not really an option either. That would probably cause more damage and harm and stress to the fish than if I simply just left them alone. So that's what I've got going on that concerns me, is both of those two fish. I was really hoping we'd get a look at crayfish or two crawling around. I actually shot some video yesterday. I actually shot pretty much this video yesterday, and it had a little look at a crayfish crawling around in it. I also think I pointed out how awesome those roots look growing across those rocks and everything, but we saw that in my initial reveal video. But for whatever reason, I wound up deleting my video before I imported it to YouTube, so I spent all day not worrying about shooting any video tonight, and then suddenly when I went to go start looking at tonight's video, it wasn't there. So here I am shooting tonight's video again. Unfortunately, we're not going to get any crayfish in tonight's video, and that's a shame because the crayfish are really cool. Came in the other morning and turned the lights on, and the crayfish was actually up here in the Java fern and wound up crawling down and sort of back behind the Java fern and that way. And I have also come out in the morning on several occasions, and I found big strings of pleco poop on the woodwork, and you can also see how nice and bright the grain of the wood and everything is, while there's algae starting to grow here and there on it. But you can also see how it's getting scraped clean by the pleco in there. So that's good news. We'll get to see the nice, bright, shiny color of that woodwork and everything. And that fish must have come in from this end, because I never saw it swim in there. Maybe it did. I just didn't see it. But there's a big hole in this end, so the fish can swim in and out and through that way. So that's pretty cool when they do that. I'm really enjoying this big piece of woodwork. It's, it's a little dark in there. Sorry about all the glare. It's kind of hard to shoot video in this room without getting glare on everything. It is a little dark in there, and then this end of the tank, almost the entirety of the end of the tank is really dark because of these big pieces of rock. So eventually, once this rock is no longer needed to kind of support this wood, I think I may get in there and redo some of this scape too, because this wood really, really blocks a lot of that light down into that corner and darkens it up and everything. I think the tilapia likes it. The tilapia, hides down in that corner anyway, and now its corner is much more secure, and nobody goes down there and bothers it anymore. But I still would like to see into the tank a little more, and when you put, a huge log like that in there, you take up a lot of real estate. So again, maybe if we can roll it this way a little bit and kind of, get that open side facing a little more upwards, we'd be able to see down into it a little better. I don't know. We'll see. But the more I look at it, the more I like it. I'm really glad I was able to tweak it and turn it. I had it for several days. I just had it with that back there, not lifted, just, the way it normally hangs. And I had it kind of blowing that way, and I had it blowing this way. And I wasn't really satisfied with any of them. I really did want to get a good, interesting, almost like a bubbling spring look. Originally, I wanted sort of a waterfall flowing into the tank, but that wasn't really an option, especially under the hurried circumstances that I sort of just slapped all this together and threw a few plants here and there, and hopefully it's going to grow in and start to, look pretty good here pretty soon. But I'm really digging the way that water looks, so that's much better than I was expecting. And still no crayfish coming out anywhere, but we do get a little bit better look at the Chinese algae eater. So now you can kind of see what I'm talking about how big and fat and bloated the thing looks. Definitely swollen and bloated up. And I'm going to almost say lethargic, because normally whenever I get near that thing, it just scurries and skitters away. It never lets me come close to it. And here I'm pretty much shoving the camera right in its face, and it's not seeming to be bothered by it. So I don't think the Paragard will do anything for this, regardless of what's going on with it. You can see the tail of my pleco right there. he really enjoys all the cave. Actually, you can see the whole pleco right there. I didn't even realize he was sticking out. I thought he was hiding in the cave. He really likes getting down inside that, underneath that piece of wood, or underneath that big rock and on the piece of wood, because that rock really is just wedged into that, opening in that log right there. All right, everybody, I can hear Squeaker stomping down the steps and yelling at me, so it must be dinner time for the cats and everybody upstairs. So I'm going to go and say thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Let's see if Squeaker comes in and makes an appearance. Where is he? I hear you. Come here. Come here. I hear you. Oh, there you are. Now I see you. Meow. And Squeaker was in last night's video too, so this is basically just take 2. You gonna say hi to everybody? Meow. 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 Alright, I'm coming. Alright, everybody, there you go. I gotta get on with feeding the cats. So thanks for watching. Make sure you're subscribed. Don't forget, this one is my 125-gallon native tank. Alright, I hear you. And I will see you real soon in the next one. Thanks again.